Estamos en la página 132 y la página 133. We got to do comparisons now. And there's three types of comparisons. You compare things that are unequal, compare things that are equal, and compare things by saying one is the most or the least or the extreme of any of the others that are under consideration. So that's A, B, and C here out of the three types of comparisons. Comparisons of inequality, you want to say more than or less than. And usually in Spanish you say más que and menos que. You can say más que together, or you can say más something que. Like more rich than, more poor than, more handsome than, more pretty than, or less than. You can do the same thing with less than. There's a problem though when you use more than like a number, more than 30, less than 20, and so on. Instead of using the word que, you use the word de after más and menos. So you see those two sets of examples there. For equality, you want to say something is as good as, or as rich as, or as smart as popular as. That's how you do things that are equal. As, the combination. We use the word as both times. In Spanish they use the word tan and como. They don't give us tanto como here, do they? Nope, just going to use tan como then. So we're going to use adjectives with this. Tan como. And then for superlative, to say something is the most of something, you just say, use the definite article, el or la, or los or las. Then you use what it is, and then the más or the menos with the adjective, and then the de. So read over the example, read over the explanations there, and then we'll go down to the práctica on page 133. With a partner, compare the people in the picture to each other. So we're looking at Carlos and Rosa, Maria, and Juan. All four of them. So these sentences are going to relate to those four people that you see in the picture. Number one, we've got Maria compared to Rosa. So we've got Maria and Rosa. Let's see, Maria is chubbier than Rosa, and she's shorter than Rosa. So there's two ways we could compare these two girls. We could say Maria, and we're starting with Maria. So we could say Maria es más baja que Rosa. She's shorter than Rosa. Or we could say Maria es más gorda que Rosa. She is chubbier than Rosa. Starting with Rosa to Maria, then we could say Rosa es, just do the opposite, Rosa es más alta que Maria, because she's taller than Maria, or Rosa es más delgada que Maria. Rosa is thinner than Maria. Number three, we're comparing Carlos with Rosa and Maria. He's taller than both of them. Looks like the comparison we're going to make there, because it's about the only thing we can, unequal comparison. So we'd say Carlos es más alto que, more tall than, más alto que Rosa y que María. Y cuatro, Carlos to Juan. Yep, he's taller than Juan too. Carlos es más alto que Juan. 5, comparing Juan to Carlos. Juan is shorter than Carlos. He's also, well, he's thinner than Carlos too, because he's a little kid, little skinny kid. So you could say, but Carlos isn't gordo, but Juan is skinnier than Carlos is. So we could do a couple comparisons here and say, Juan es más bajo que Carlos. He's shorter than Carlos. Or Juan es más delgado que Carlos. Juan to María, he's thinner than María, and he's shorter than María too. Juan es más delgado que María. You hear the más que with the delgado in the middle. Or we use bajo. Juan es más bajo que María. 7, Juan es, now we do the superlative for number 7 and 8. Superlative means we're going to say who's the most or the least of something. So Juan is the shortest of all of them. So we would put it together this way. Juan es el más bajo de todos. Now we don't use the que, we use de for the superlative. Juan es el más bajo de todos. He is the shortest of all. And Carlos is the tallest of all, so we would say Carlos es el más alto de todos. And you've got examples of people down there at the bottom you got that you can compare. Michael Jordan, Danny DeVito, use the word alto. Michael Jordan es más alto que Danny DeVito. Number 2, comparing El Salvador with Canada, and use pequeño. Well, El Salvador is smaller than Canada, so we'd say El Salvador es más pequeño que Canadá. 3, la clase de español and la clase de inglés. And you got the word difícil. So that depends upon your point of view. You could say la clase de español es más difícil que la clase de inglés. Or la clase de español es menos difícil que la clase de inglés. 4, comparing Julia Roberts with Penelope Cruz de Bonita. And that depends on your point of view again. We could use an equal, say they're both the same pretty. We could say Julia Roberts es tan bonita como, using tan como for the as, es tan bonita como Penelope Cruz. Or if you think that Penelope is prettier than Julia, you could say Julia Roberts es menos bonita que Penelope Cruz. Or if you think that Julia is prettier, you could say Julia Roberts es más bonita que Penelope Cruz. Number 5, Guatemala with Argentina. Guatemala is kind of tiny compared to Argentina, a very, very big country. So we could say Argentina es más grande que Guatemala. Or we could turn it around and say Guatemala es menos grande que Argentina. Número 6, Jim Carrey with Antonio Banderas. Guapo. Well, Antonio Banderas, the Latin lover. He's probably more guapo in many people's estimation. So you could say Antonio Banderas es más guapo que Jim Carrey. Or if you think Jim Carrey's handsomer, Jim Carrey es más guapo que Antonio Banderas. That's comparison.